There you can see what it looks like from the side. Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, I want to show you how to make the world's fastest hobo stove. Stay tuned. To make this stove, you're going to need a few simple things and a few simple tools. First of all, you're going to need just a standard can. And I don't know what size this is considered, but this had green beans in it, so it's just a standard size can that you find on your shelf. You're also going to need a stick that will fit inside the can that's fairly close to the diameter of the can. You're going to need a pair of snips, a bottle opener with a church key on one end, it's the triangular part, and you're going to need a hammer and a nail. You may also want some sort of a Sharpie. The first thing that you need to do is you need to make 8 marks around the can exactly opposite from each other. And that's easiest to do by marking the inside first and putting a little mark up on the rim so you know where it is, so you can mark it exactly opposite. I'm going to mark all of those and I'll get back to you and show you what that looks like. Okay, if you've done that right, you're going to have 8 marks all the way around the can, just like this. And they will be generally equally spaced, although it doesn't have to be perfect. The next thing you want to do is you want to take your marker and you want to start up not quite halfway on the ribbing and come down across and down. Just kind of guess, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to keep the hole that you're cutting, this opening, just a little bit above the bottom of the can. So just like that. We don't want to weaken it too much. Then we're going to go to the very back of the can, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the church key and we're going to make our triangular holes first. I'm going to do that. We'll do that directly behind our opening. There's 1, and 2, and 3. So we have 3 openings right directly in the very back of the can for air holes. Next, I'm going to take the stick. I'm going to slide the can over top with my rectangular opening right there where I can see it. I'm going to hold it between my legs. I'm going to take the hammer and the nail and I'm going to punch at all 4 corners. This is not hard to do, as tin is very soft and it punctures easily. There we have our 4 holes punched. Now that we have those holes opened, I can use the snips and I can cut open the opening here, which is going to be the feeding hole. And we're going to cut the 2 sides, the top, this, but we're not going to cut the bottom one. It'll look just like that. Next, if you will notice, I made the black marks here with the Sharpie on the smooth part all the way down to the ribbing, all the way around. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the snips and as straight as possible, we're going to make cuts on each one of those. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's just a can. Just like that, all the way around. Now my hands are pretty tough, but you may still want to wear gloves for this, and so I'm going to do that. Sometimes people get upset that I don't wear gloves on my videos, so this is to satisfy everybody that thinks that I really ought to be more safety conscious. What you want to do is you want to take and push from the inside, and you have to dent this curve down here at the bottom where this part here that we marked but did not cut. So we're trying to dent that in a little bit. And again, just work that a little bit until we can open that up just like this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and fold every other tab inward. So this down like this. That. And then the next one. And just like that. And you might want to work it a little bit to get this loose. Sometimes they don't want to fold just exactly right. They want to catch where the cuts are, and that's okay. Alright, so we end up with something that looks like this. There you go. And if you do this right, you can make this stove in less than 5 minutes. Alright, let's show you how it works. To light it, we're just going to use a little bit of cotton ball with petroleum jelly on it, using this nice little platform that we have here on the outside. Of course, it lights very easy with a lighter. I'm going to use a little bit of fat wood. I'm going to go ahead and push this on inside the burn chamber. And then we put 3 pieces of fat wood in there. Just like this. Now remember, this is a twig stove, so you want to take advantage of all the heat that you have. So as soon as you get the fire going, you want to go ahead and put your cup on top. And there we go. And it sits perfectly on top of there. Now, being a twig stove, we want to make sure that we have a lot of twigs already ready to go ahead and start piling into the burn chamber. And with a twig stove like this, when you're trying to boil water, you want to add as much as you can, as quick as you can. You want to fill that burn chamber up. Nice with this little lip out here is it keeps the sticks from falling out, and then allows you to just push them on in when you're ready for that burn. Remember that the smaller the twigs you use, the hotter the fire you're going to get. I like to make my sticks about the width of my hand. Of course, we've got a really stiff wind blowing, but you can see that that's doing really well. It's burning quite nicely. And there you can see what it looks like from the side with the flap open and with the door supporting the sticks. Now, as I said, with a twig stove, you have to keep feeding them, and the smaller the twigs, the hotter the flame. Now, this stump isn't very secure, so you might see it rocking a little bit, but that's all right. It's for demonstration purposes. You would obviously want to try to keep it on as firm of a foundation as possible. Occasionally, you might have to blow in it a little bit. And then also make sure and check in the rear and make sure that the little air holes are open. You might have to take a stick and kind of open those up a little bit just to help that airflow just a little bit better. And you'll find that that'll work pretty good for you. All right, we'll let it do its thing and then we'll get back to you. And there we have a rolling boil. Nice cup of water. And there's the burn chamber of the little stove. Very fast hobo stove build. If you do it right, you can do it in 5 minutes or less. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below. And while you're down there, you'll find our Patreon link. This is where you can donate to financially support the channel. And you can do so for as little as $1 a month. And a big thank you to everybody that's been doing so. You'll also find our spring link. This is where you can buy great Waypoint Survival branded merchandise. You'll also find our waypointsurvival.com link. And this is where you can sign up for great survival and bushcraft training classes. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos. And we'll talk to you next time.